Hey guys, SureShotMG here. I'm going to be doing a tabletop style review on this custom M9. It's KJW and HFC custom. So, I did the same thing. I just did a video on this pistol here. It's a KJW WeTech custom P226. It's just KJW and WeTech parts all mashed together. So, this one is KJW and HFC mashed together. So, I kind of like doing these builds. This one was a build. This one really wasn't a build. I just kept having issues with it over and over, so I kept just buying things here and there. The main issue was the CO2. I had to get CO2 for the gun to cycle correctly. But, yeah, I just bought a KJW lower because my WeTech one had broken after lots of rounds. So, yeah, that really wasn't planned. Whereas this, I planned this, and I built it as is right now. Magazine I use a KWC PT99 magazine. CO2 holds 28 BBs. I use .2s, and I put a KJW feed lip on here with a KJW rubber right here, bucking, rubber, or gas route, bucking, whatever you want to call it, for the magazine to get a better seal on the nozzle. Because the original KWC one wasn't made for the KJW nozzle. So, as far as externals, I'll just go over them. So the grips here are HFC. So it says HFC M190 Special Forces Cal 6mm 2003. These are really, really old. This is 2003. I feel like I have a piece of history right here. Because back in 2003, I didn't even play Airsoft, I don't think. No, I didn't. No. Crazy, right? Back in 2003, I was all about those Star Wars cards and just Star Wars in general. That was my thing back then. Man, that's a long time ago. That's cool. So these are like 2003 grips. I'm sure they made them a while later. These are the HFCs are pretty hard to find actually because I think they're discontinued because they've been out for a long while. And it's got the spider logo there. And my lower is HFC. It is gray. You can get plastic HFC models, which this was originally, but then I had this metal HFC one that I threw on here to give it better two-tone. The gray HFC lower with a gray HFC outer barrel. Also, the slide that you get with your HFC will say M190 Special Forces. It'll be gray, but it won't have the dot sights, and that bothered me, so I wanted this KJW slide. And this is a KJW metal black slide with the white dots. Safety right here. So here's on safe. You can double action it. Put it on safe. You cannot pull the trigger or cock it at all. That's how mine is. Some of them you can cock it, but it'll just stay on safe. Or safe. Not safe. Wow. And then when you put it on off safe, you can see the red dot. Red, you're dead. And you can do anything you want with it. And then this is double action, which I really like the trigger pull on this. It's very smooth. M9s are like that. It's not this specifically, this company, but there's a little bit of play here, kind of just play, and then you get resistance, and once the resistance is broken, it fires. It's not like this right here, where you pull it in, there's no definitive resistance. It's just plushy the whole way. And you really don't know when it's going to break. That's just inherent of the KJW and WeTech and the TM P226s. Because they're all copies. Well, the TM was the original. Now, not all of the lowers have flashlight or rails on them. The plastic lower, HFC did, this does, and the KJW, I think they make two different models, one with and without. The slide lock here is steel. It's garter. The original ones break very fast, so this is a steel one that I threw in here. I actually just got that today. I have a spare trigger. I have a spare hammer. I have a spare trigger bar. They're all HFC. I have spare parts for this like crazy. I have a spare HFC nozzle. The one in here is the blue CO2 ready nozzle made by KJW, as I said. Hop-up unit is HFC fixed. Now, I'll show you the hop-up. So to tear it apart, push this button in, swing this forward, there you go. So there you go, the internals here. Really all of it's metal. As far as the KJW and HFC, the quality on them, they're about the same, to be honest. I have all KJW lower parts in here, but I did have a KJW M9 back a while ago, which this slide was from. I have one spacer on my spring guide. Pull the hop-up out. So here you go. Blue nozzle in there. It's a somewhat light slide. It's heavier than the KWAs. The KWAs weigh like nothing, and you get like hardly any recoil out of them. This one's not too bad. So I like this system. You slide this down, and this comes off. And then this is the HFC fixed top-up. But this right here, I have a kind of a patch, I guess you could say. There's this hole here that's already originally in there, and you can actually put a piece of one of those ear cleaners, whatever they call them, cotton swabs, maybe? Yeah, I think so. Anyways, when you push down on this, which when the barrel slides over, it pushes down on it, and it actually adds hop. And with 0.2 gram BBs, my BBs are starting to drop at about 110 feet, and the consistency is really good. Range and accuracy is really good. Now my outer barrel is starting to crack over here, but my recoil did go down since this started cracking, so I don't know if it'll crack all the way, but if it does, I'll find a cheap one, probably a WeTech one, just to buy extremely cheap and throw on there, because it shouldn't crack again. Because this thing used to kick a lot harder when I had other parts in here, but the efficiency was junk. So, we're going to chrono this. I don't think I'm missing anything. So this is the first shot on the CO2 can. Let's see how it's shooting on the first shot. This thing is the hardest shooting full cycle blowback pistol I've ever seen. So it's on .2s. It's on .2s. Aw, dang, I turned it off. Bruh. .2s, I just pushed it up so you can see it bigger. .392. Tell me what full cycle pistol you've seen shoot that hard. And I'm not talking about like the half cycle, an actual full cycle that loads a BB like this. And also what's cool is when you lock the slide back or pull the slide back, you can actually dump the BB out of the chamber like you don't even want it. It's like an abortion for BBs. Just kidding. Abortions are stupid. Anyways. And then 384. The average is about 370, 360. 381. 377. 386. So it fluctuates up and down, but it doesn't have a consistent drop. Like a lot of propane and green gas guns will have a consistent drop. It'll keep dropping, and then your hop-up has a hard time keeping up with that drop in feet per second. I upgraded to CO2 on this thing, and this thing with .25s is shooting absolute lasers. With the propane, it wasn't too bad, but the FPS did go all over the place, and it cycled like junk. And with CO2, it cycles much better. As far as the slide, I'm not really worried about the slide cracking or anything or exploding. If it does, I'll probably just have to buy a new slide off of Evike. They have a brand new whole slide system for like 36 bucks, and I'll just buy that. And I'll probably use this hop-up because this hop-up is dialed in, and I glued the hop-up wheel so it doesn't move. Anyways, let's go ahead and shoot the rest of the M9 here. Like I said, average is about 370 feet per second, so it's shooting pretty hard. So let's see how it runs here. Alright. There's not a whole lot of room here for me like to extend my arms or anything. I'm just gonna go ahead and shoot the rest of the mag. I'll shoot like half of it and then chrono again to show you that it doesn't drop a whole lot. Okay, so I shot fairly fast there. I'm gonna chrono it here. 386. So that had literally no drop. No feet per second drop. At all. Here, I'll do it again. 0.2 still. 381. So Very consistent. I know it's only like the first mag, like a few rounds in, but with propane it would be dropping already. So I really do recommend CO2. There is a lot more pressure going on in there, but the only thing that's taking the brute force of the CO2 is your hammer, your slide, and your nozzle. Really everything else is just kind of isn't taking a whole lot of extra force between CO2 and propane. So, yeah. And I have a spare hammer, spare nozzle, so. And the trigger is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Let me go and show you guys the reset. Last round, check that out. Didn't get to reset it. It's empty, so. Now the slide lock is a little finicky. I just got it today. It's the Garter steel one. It's supposed to be TM compatible, but sometimes when it does lock back, it's really hard to push it down. I sometimes have to take, kind of take my hand off the gun and kind of push it down. So, not sure what that's all about, but see, like here, I had to kind of get both fingers and push down, so not too bad. I really do like this pistol, though. As far as accuracy, range, and consistency, it is really, really good. The only thing that bothers me is that outer barrel. If it cracks, I'm going to be ticked. I can buy a new one, or even a used one. I could probably buy, I know somebody that has a Garter steel one, actually. I think it's steel, and he said he would sell it to me, part it out to me. Same guy bought this one from, so he would part the outer barrel to me for like 20 shipped, I think he said, which if this cracks, I might do that, or I might just go somewhere and find a really cheap one, like on eBay if they sell them. But anyways, I really do love this pistol. So if you have any questions, just ask. Here's double action. There you go. So if you have any questions, please put it in the comment section. If you want me to do a shooting test outside, I can. I did do one back in the winter when it was shooting a lot, when there was a lot more kick, and it's shooting a little bit more consistent now. It doesn't have any more range or accuracy. It's just a lot more consistent pinpoint. But just go check out my shooting test on that, the helmet cam. I might do a quick, like, 2-minute shooting test on this tomorrow because I already have a CO2 can in here. I'll probably use this one and just load it up one more time and just do a helmet cam footage. So give me a like if you want me to do that, or even comment. I don't care. Although I won't have this uploaded tonight, so it'll be pointless anyways. Just give it a thumbs up anyways. So, see you guys later. Also, go check out my video on this WeTech P226. Just did it. I'll upload them the same day probably, so you can go check those out.